So you can also select a specific subset from your data frame or your table. Whereas we have seen how you explicitly call a particular column within your data frame by calling the data frame variable name, as well as the given column name, as a string within square brackets, or the other form where you use the dot function. So we can call in monthly charges from telco, and then we save it to monthly charges. And then we come and check .head on monthly charges. So monthly charges is a new variable in this case. And we can call the functions within pandas to explore what is within our monthly charges. Now, again, just to specify, when you call a single column, within a pandas data frame, it returns a pandas.co.series data type. You can also call .shape, just like in NumPy, for you to understand essentially what is the shape of the value of the object of which you're working with. It works both for series and data frames. In this case, because we're working with a series, which is a single column, it will only give us the number of rows or the number of values. Oh, no, not the number of values, the number of records within our particular structure. However, if it was a data frame, it would give us the number of rows as well as the number of columns. Okay. You can also select multiple columns within a data frame at once. So assuming we wanted all the revenue values within a particular data frame, we call the data frame variable, and within a square bracket here, we give it a list of all the columns that you wanted to select within our particular data frame. Now, do you remember when I mentioned that this functionality up here has some limitations when you call dot? This is one of them. Whereas it only works when you're calling a particular or a single column within your data frame. But when you want to call multiple ones, the old method where you list up all the items that you want to be selected from the data frame, or the list of all the column names that you want to be selected from the data frame, set up in a list and then sent in within the square brackets to refer that it's an object or a set of objects of which you're referring back from telcom data frame. So we save that to revenue, and yet again, we can run the exploratory data analysis such as .head. Now, we can go ahead and filter out values based on a given condition from our data frame. Whereas we call in the data frame where we want the values to be referred, or where we want the values to be returned from. And we emphasize that from this particular column, I want values that are greater than 100. So this is our condition here within the square brackets. Whereas we are saying, get all the values from Telkom, where the values from Telkom in the column monthly charges are greater than 100, and then assign those values back to the new variable called paid above 100. And we can go right ahead and explore the data again. Now, at this point, you're probably realizing that we tend to use .head a lot. This is why, whenever you're working with data science, you need to know exactly what your data looks like at any given point. Because if you don't understand exactly what is happening in your data frame at each given time, you tend to lose track of essentially what you are aiming at or not necessarily what you're aiming at, or you tend to lose track whenever you make a mistake at any given point. So it's always recommended that you keep checking to make sure that whatever you are expecting from each particular call, in fact, went through whenever you're doing a data science project. And that's why an environment like Jupyter Notebooks is very important, because it gives you direct feedback immediately when you request for it. Okay, so yet again, we can run some other numerical operations within our data frame, such as .count. Now, .count, because counting doesn't really rely on numerical values, it's more of a number count. It doesn't matter the data type of each particular column. It will give you the count of how many values it found within that particular column, within that particular data frame. Now, in this case, we are working with around over 77,000 values. But when we filter only the people paid above 100, we can see there was a clear cut of only 902 individuals. So we can also check if particular values exist within a particular data frame and filter that information out.